From doing the recent tasks, for example the walking through the door task, I feel like I've become more confident and comfortable when using a camera, and my skills of learning how to use a camera have most importantly been improved. An example of this is learning how to use the 180-degree rule successfully and the importance of this rule. Another example of this would be the framing of each shot and how to capture the whole scene in the shot, and the compositions of where things are placed in the shots and the importance of where things are placed. The only difficulty I had when producing our film was mostly involved in the editing section. This was because an error had occurred in our music, like I said previously, and we were unable to access this piece of music to add this piece to our film. This then limited us to how much time we had to edit, because we couldn't exactly edit the beats and the duration and the speed of each shot without the music, because it had to relate to the music and it bounced off the music. This then extended the time that we had. I do think our product can fall short in some places. For example, to do with how the delay of where shots are placed, and in between each shot there was supposed to be a flash, but because it was the tiny bit longer, it just looks like a gap. So some shots have got shot and then a gap and then another shot, and I just think this makes it look a bit more messy and not as professional, because you're waiting for the shot to come on, and I don't think it looks right. However, it was a group decision, so we had to stick with it. I think our opening sequence compares to professional films because it fulfills the set expectations needed for a thriller. For example, the music and graphics, personally I think, are the best in our film and most effective because they create the tension, and the titles also show that our character is very psychotic. If I could change our production in any way, I think it would have to be the set out or the layout of the shots. I think we could muddle them around and put them in a different order. This would make them a bit more interesting. By muddling them around a bit, instead of having a fluent narrative, we could make the narrative a bit more non-linear, so it's less predictable for our audience. If I could do something different, I would spend more time on our music, because even though I do think it's quite effective in our piece, it could be better because we could have edited the music more to make it even more unusual than what it does sound now. I think we could also look carefully at the detail in the sound, so each beat is carefully positioned, because we had a problem with this because few shots come in a bit too late with some of the beats, so they do look a bit messy. However, it's only the slightest bit late, so it's doesn't show that much on the film. If I changed our film also, I think I'd have to make it have less gaps involved at random times. I think these gaps look messy and they look like that we'd forgotten to fill them. However, at the time we did think it could create a bit of tension and leading up to the outcome. However, now looking back, we realise that it just doesn't look effective. I like this module because it helped us expand on our techniques and it allowed us to be creative with our ideas that we put into our thrillers. I did also enjoy learning about the codes and conventions within the thrillers.